Which iPhone has the best battery life? And how long do the batteries on the new iPhone 14, 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max last compared to the previous iPhone 13 series? Hello guys, my name is Vic and welcome to Phone Arena and our ultimate iPhone battery test for 2022. On the table for this comparison from right to left, first we have the iPhone SE 2022 edition, then the iPhone 13 mini, the iPhone 13, the 13 Pro, the 13 Pro Max, and then we have the three new iPhones, the iPhone 14 and the two golden boys, the iPhone 14 Pro and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Also, a quick shout out to our friends from iBlazon for sponsoring a part of this video. So now you're seeing the battery sizes on each of these phones. The iPhone SE has the smallest battery cell, the 13 mini has a slightly larger battery, but still small, and then the iPhone 13 already has a more reasonable battery size. The 13 Pro actually has a slightly smaller cell than the regular 13, and then the 13 Pro Max has the biggest battery in this comparison. Finally, the new iPhone 14 have almost the same battery sizes as the 13 series. By the way, if you want to see more such detailed comparisons, make sure to click that subscribe button. That's hugely appreciated as these tests really take quite a long while to complete. So with all of this in mind, all iPhones are fully charged at 100% and we have previously set the brightness on all of them at the same level for an equal playing field. So in this first web browsing test, we have a script running the same set of web pages that refresh at a preset interval and the phones are scrolling around just like you would in regular use. If you're just browsing the web or using social media, this test is a great representation of that lighter use case. So for this test, we run the phones until they are dead and measure which one lasts the longest, but since this often takes more than 10 hours, we cannot show you the real-time full run. And instead, on your screen right now, you're just seeing a simulated test run. With this in mind, let's fast things forward until the first iPhone is about to die, and that is the iPhone SE. The budget iPhone SE lasts 11 hours and 53 minutes on this test, which is below the average. Now we still have many phones running, so let's once again fast forward until the next one bites the dust, and that is the iPhone 13 mini. Apple killed the mini this year, there is no longer a new model, but the previous generation scores 12 hours and 33 minutes, just slightly better than the SE edition. Okay, let's keep on going until another phone dies, and fast forward, it is the iPhone 13. The iPhone 13 lasts an hour more than the mini at 13 hours and 43 minutes. Okay, we are starting to move into the big leagues and now we have to wait quite a bit longer until the next phone bites the dust, and that is the iPhone 13 Pro with exactly 14 hours and 44 minutes on the clock. And that is an excellent showing, but it seems that the new iPhone 14 series lasts even longer. So we fast forward time again until we see the black screen on the iPhone 14 and it gets a score of 15 hours and 23 minutes. So the regular 14 this year outlasts the 13 Pro from last year, which is interesting. So once again here we have to fast forward until finally the iPhone 14 Pro also taps out and the time on the clock is 16 hours and 18 minutes, so a bit better than the regular iPhone 14. With this, we're left with the big boys, the Pro Max series, and they last longer than all the rest, so we have to wait and wait until finally the iPhone 13 Pro Max taps out and the time on the clock is 18 hours and 52 minutes. So the iPhone 14 Pro Max, despite its slightly smaller battery, actually wins this battery test, and it finishes soon after with a score of 19 hours and 5 minutes. This is a tiny difference between the two Pro Max sized iPhones, but still in favor of the newer one. So let's recap the scores. The SE and the 13 mini were expectedly the quickest to die, but we saw quite a bit of improvement with the 14 and the 14 Pro, and finally the new 14 Pro Max just slightly outlasted last year's 13 Pro Max. Okay, this test was interesting, but next we will be testing how long these iPhones will last streaming the same playlist of YouTube videos non-stop. Again, we measure the time from 100% charge until the phones are completely dead, and once again, since this test runs a real long time, we're showing you a simulation run and not the full one. With this in mind, let's get this thing going and see who will win this round. Fast forward for viewing convenience until the first phone taps out, and that is again the iPhone SE. This time around it finishes with a score of just 4 hours and 28 minutes, which means it drains super quick while watching videos. Let's keep on going though, and again fast motion until the next phone dies, and that is the iPhone 13 mini with a score of 6 hours and 20 minutes, and the mini does much better here than the SE, so that is worth noting. Let's keep on going, and again we have a big gap of time until the next phone dies, and that is the iPhone 13. And the time on the clock is 8 hours and 15 minutes, so the 13 will last much longer than the 13 mini for video playback. Interestingly, the 13 Pro also finishes soon after with a score of 8 hours and 26 minutes, very close to the regular 13. And speaking of close calls, the next phone to die is the iPhone 14 at 8 hours and 35 minutes, again very close to the 13 series. But we have to fast forward time again until we have the next phone to get the black screen, and that is the iPhone 14 Pro with 9 hours and 14 minutes on the clock. The Pro Max phones, however, again are still running, and those bigger batteries definitely give them the edge. We fast forward until we see the 13 Pro Max tap out first, expectedly, with a score of 10 hours and 23 minutes, so this leaves us again with the winner who gets the chicken dinner, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it finally finishes this test with exactly 11 hours on the clock. Take a look at this chart where we recap the results for this round. So what do we have here? The iPhone SE was dead last on both tests, scoring way below the rest of the iPhones. Then, the iPhone 13 mini was slightly better, but not by much than the SE, and if you care about a full day battery life, this is still not a great choice. The iPhone 13, however, ups the ante significantly, and it is the first phone we can recommend if you care about that full day battery life. Then we have the 13 Pro, which scored only slightly higher than the regular version, but essentially its battery life is not much different. The new iPhone 14 scored better than the 13 and 13 Pro, but again not by much at all. And then the 14 Pro model lasted again just a bit more than the regular 14 version, but all of these phones, the 13, 13 Pro and 14 Pro, are in the same one-day territory. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is in a different league, however, and it has the numbers to back it up. It can last you 2 full days between charges. And finally, the iPhone 14 Pro Max scores a tiny bit better, but not by much. You want these iPhones to last long, just like their batteries, which is a great segue to this video's sponsor, iBlazon. Their Aries case for the iPhone 14 series offers great protection thanks to its shock-absorbing TPU bumper, unbending polycarbonate and air-cushioned corners that protect from falls. This case is also 20 feet drop test certified, so that is definitely reassuring, and its raised edges protect the camera and the screen. Plus, it simply looks good, and with the transparent back, that color you picked for your iPhone still comes through beautifully. We also love that the case comes with a built-in screen protector that prevents scratches and cracks with no compromise to touch sensitivity. And if you love the Aries, they also now offer a version compatible with MagSafe called Aries Mag. And right now is a great time to get this case. iBlazon is running a 25% off hero discount for teachers, students, military, first responders and healthcare workers when you shop on iBlazon.com. So check out the link below for all the details and get yourself an Aries case right now, or just type iPhone 14 case by iBlazon in Amazon and check out all the other cases the company offers and pick your favorite. So there you have it. No big changes in the iPhone 14 series this year, but still we get slightly higher results in our testing, which is nice to see. So which iPhone would you go for? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to click that subscribe button to our channel here, Phone Arena, for more iPhone 14 videos. My name is Vic, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys around.